Welcome back to House of 1000 Haunts. I am Stevie.
And I'm Dwayne.
And on tonight's episode, we are taking you to Lexington, South Carolina for our first time visiting Deceased Farms.
Located right in the middle of a giant cornfield on a real farm.
But before we get into it tonight, let's talk about what we're drinking as we do per usual. We are in our studio tonight, so I've got my Boo Cup with a little bit of sweet tea and my Choney Day straw.
I'm drinking the same thing. I don't like Hickory Cup.
Delicious. So if you're watching the video, you can see our cups. We will have the video linked in the show notes below. It comes out on 4 p.m., same day as the podcast. So Deceased Farms. This was a brand new haunt to us. We had never been there before. This is actually their holiday version of their haunt. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Very welcoming place. Very big place. As Dwayne said, it is in the middle of a cornfield. And in the middle of nowhere, as we're used to, as we see, that's kind of one of my favorites, honestly. It's a little terrifying, very fun.
It was a very interesting place. When we first pulled up, the parking, I wasn't really sure where to park, but then you just kind of kept pulling around, and then there was all the parking right there. But yeah, very, very big place. It took us probably about an hour or so to walk through, I'd say, at least 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was mostly outside, but they did have a lot of indoor parts as well. So let's get into it. When you first go in, you get your tickets, and they give you playing cards to go by for when you can stand in line for entry into the haunt, because you do go into this really big midway, and it has a lot of awesome things to partake in while you're waiting for your card to be called. They do have a screen where it shows the card that is currently in line, and they also say it over an intercom. And like we said, this was the holiday version of it, so they had fake snow, so some snow blowing in the air.
Elves running around.
Yeah, it was really fun. The elves were interesting. They
were fun.
I accidentally called them monsters, and they did not appreciate that. But we did enjoy them. The midway has concessions and a paintball area. It was like a zombie paintball. They also had carnival games and photo ops and a big fire pit to keep you warm during cold nights.
I will say, before we head into the haunt, they did actually serve alcohol there. They had beer.
Oh yeah,
you don't
that's
really
true.
See that a whole lot.
That's true.
In haunts.
I didn't think to mention that.
So,
that's not always a thing. A lot of haunts are we don't want you in here if you're inebriated at all. And they're take a sip and come inside. So that was interesting. So, but once we got in line, we met Sugar Plum. She was a very good time. She's the one who got upset that I called you monsters. I mean no harm. Everybody takes, I guess, perceives words in their own way, and I love the word monster, so I didn't mean it negative, in a derogatory term. The first thing you do is she knocks on the door and lets you inside, and it's like a screen door, so you're walking into a house.
I feel like during the during the season, the haunt season, during October, it's probably set up like that. You're going to the farm, you go in through the farmhouse, and then you kind of make your way through. You go out into the actual farm itself and make your way back around and stuff like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed the theming in this place. It was one of those places where it was everywhere. It was above you, around you, below you, just everywhere you looked. They did very well with that. I love that. I understand that not everybody can make, ceilings and stuff in their haunts, but the ones that can and do, I love it. I love
get creative with it. Let it be janky.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I do understand though. I have heard some haunts talk about using pallets and stuff like that. They'll fall apart over time. So I do understand that you want to create something that will last you longer, but at the same time, tomorrow is not promised to us, people. Create. So just, I don't know, figure it out. Just figure it out, mate, dude. What if you just start with pallets and you're just badass with pallets, and then you make good sales, and then you upgrade it later. I don't know. You never know. But anyway, this haunt, like Dwayne said, did really good at just kind of immersing you all around. They had a lot of decorations for the holiday season, which was cool because it made me realize they switch it up for their different events.
Right.
So that's fun because then you will not get the same thing each time. Because we do want to see haunts open more year round because we like to just go to them all the time.
I like
honestly.
all the haunts year round.
So it's cool to see these haunts switching it up. That's awesome.
Very
I dig
cool.
it.
How about that skin hallway? That was crazy.
The girl, she was like yelling, my skin, my skin. And then we walked through a hallway where it was all dangling and drying out and smacking you in the face.
It was crazy.
That was
pretty
wicked.
cool. Then we head outside and we actually encounter the reindeer cages.
That were full of humans.
Yeah, no, they were reindeer.
The lady was saying, no, don't let them convince you they're humans. They're reindeer.
They were reindeer.
So we just scurried along because, we don't want to be guilty by association. So we kept moving. There was a cool area where it was like a morgue, but there was a witch in there.
Like a crematory. Yeah,
there was a witch in there, like Hansel and Gretel situation. And it was very heavy on the theming again. Again, I could tell that they switch it up a lot. They also did a Valentine event. We didn't get to make it to that. So they do other events as well. So we'll have to go check them out again some other time and see what they do differently. I want to see some Easter haunts. Anybody got some bunnies? Bunny!
I know a bunny. I know a big bunny.
Oh. We did end up back outside, and at this one point, we were just zigzagging through palettes. And this is why I was talking about the palettes, because they did utilize palettes, and they had painted them some different colors at some point.
They did really well with it. I really felt like I was getting lost at one point. I do believe on the video,
like maze-like, yeah.
Am I going the right way?
Yeah, right?
You weren't really sure.
And we never did go the wrong way at any time because I have walked in the wrong directions sometimes in some haunts. And happens. I don't mean to. It just happens that way.
We go through so many.
Oh, well. They just push me out. Get out of my hole! They did have this giant hog head. We didn't get it in the video. We didn't get good footage of it. And they said it was messed up a little bit. But it was neat.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am a sucker for giant animatronics. Big giant things are terrifying. So yeah, that's a good animatronic.
Yeah, when something has a big mouth. And they can just eat you?
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, think about, like, Godzilla. That's a terrifying situation there.
He'll step on you.
Yeah. Crazy.
Godzilla. The palette started to get really colorful, and it led to this space where you go inside, and it just had a lot of, like, art on the walls, and it reminded me of Shane Morton's home haunt, the Haunted Palace of Lindmore Woods. That place was bomb.
That was so awesome. That was cool. But yeah, it was a neon room with a bunch of stuff on the walls. And it was glowing and everything. Like I said, and again, I've said it before, I love the neon rooms and I love different takes on them. That's not just clowns.
Yeah.
And this was really cool.
It was art, very similar to Shane's. So
very cool.
I like that. Then one of my favorite areas, again, the smoke-filled space where you don't know what's going on and somebody's going to grab your butt cheeks. We got one of these in this haunt. The super smoke room with and there was monsters inside of it. That was the note I made. The super smoke room with monsters inside.
I legit got scared at this point because we're walking through and I didn't really notice anybody in there because it's, they're showing the strobe lights.
Yeah.
And it's just smoke. This guy comes out of here and you can tell in the video, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa! And it scared me.
Moss Man.
Moss Man got me good.
Looked like a moss man.
And then he followed us out and he stood in the exit way of it and looked really cool with the lights behind him and everything.
All silhouette-y.
It was great. It was really great. That guy got me. It's rare that someone gets me good like that in a haunt. He got me. That was good.
That was wicked. Those are those are some of my favorite spots because you could put nothing in it or fill it up and then it's extra terrifying.
Yes.
Have people grabbing your ankles and stuff. Watch out, I'll kick you in the face.
Oh, that's actually what's on the TV right now.
There you go.
Is that part. That's funny.
If you're watching it on the YouTube video, you can see little strobies
Yeah.
But after that, it led to this really awesome, very detailed locker room area where the Grinch was hanging out. Okay? And it zigzagged into like a bathroom with stalls, and then you walk through like Stranger Things style through the stalls, through like awesome. The back of it, and then you continue that way. I love that. That was so much fun.
Again, great use of neon in that room.
Yeah, it was painted all neon and bright. I enjoyed that.
It was so good.
That's awesome. When you utilize stuff like that for like a little bit of lighting, but not brighten it up too much.
And we end up, you hear something being beaten off in the distance, and you come around a corner, and there's a guy dressed like Santa Claus, and he says, he's like, I'm sorry, they were very naughty this year. He goes, don't worry, it's only cranberry sauce.
And we freaked out because it reminded us of a movie called Blood Rage. That was not the exact line he said.
Yeah, but it was still...
in the film, he says...
It's not cranberry sauce.
It's not cranberry sauce, Artie. It's not cranberry sauce.
He says it in that... If you've seen that movie, you know he says it at least 10 times.
It's ridiculous. If you were to have a, drinking contest...
Where you drink
every time they say, you will be wasted by the end of it. Watch it. Blood Rage. It's hilarious. I don't know that it's free anywhere because we haven't even got to fully see it yet.
There's an edited copy somewhere on YouTube, I do believe, but
it's edited. I want to watch the. That's what it is I want to watch the unedited one, the full one. So we need to purchase that film.
Right.
Okay. It's a Thanksgiving horror movie. I thoroughly enjoy watching holiday horror films. So Thanksgiving horror movies and Christmas horror movies and Easter horror movies and 420 horror movies. Anyway, that was probably one of my favorite parts other than the smoke area. That just made me laugh my ass off.
He did continue to follow us outside, and
it scared me. Yeah,
scared Stevie really good into one of the tunnels, and tunnels are kind of disorienting anyway.
And I had to walk backwards.
And he had to walk backwards. It was great.
He was bowing up at me and flinching.
That was great.
Scared me.
Right as we get out of the tunnel, there's this big giant fence, a big privacy fence, and a gate opens, and an elf peeks out, and he goes, "Hey, you guys want a gift?" And we're like, sure. And he goes, I got something for you.
Dwayne always says yes.
I was okay, cool. And he pulls out a chainsaw and he goes, well, here's your gift. And he cranks it up and he chases us down through the path. It was really good. Just the whole scene was, it was comical. It was almost like a Bugs Bunny cartoon or something. It was genius. I loved it. And
it just further ran us right into the cornfield.
Oh yeah, then we went out to the cornfield. That's
we were
right.
Further into the cornfield at that point, and we ended up going through several different sheds that were different, just horror scenes. So we go through this one where it had just this crazy dude watch out for Mariah Scary, and we walk around the corner and this animatronic pops out and. That was Mariah Scary.
Yeah, it was a lady on the wall.
They had Mariah Carey playing in the background.
It was very funny.
That was funny. And we also see this we kind of walk up to this, I don't know, what was it? It was kind of like a concession-looking stand type thing. I wasn't really paying attention, to be honest with you,
right.
Because in front of it was a terrifying Wendigo.
It was crazy. It was really crazy. It was just kind of like a shed out in the middle because they didn't have any lights on. That's what they wanted you to perceive it as. I wasn't paying attention to the shed.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't really tell. It wasn't.
He was awesome.
You didn't walk through that. You just kept walking through the corn, and it followed you a little bit.
I love the Wendigo.
The noise he was making, though.
Creepy.
Terrifying.
Creepy. Whoever was that Wendigo did a very good job. And yes, I loved it. Loved that Wendigo.
We have a horror short on our YouTube channel called The Wendigo.
Yeah, look it up.
After that, again, like I said, we start zigzagging through different sheds, and we go into one that's like a chapel, like a little church. And this guy, The Rocked me, first off.
Yeah.
He asked me a question, and then it doesn't matter. And it's whoa. Whoa. The Rock is very powerful right now. I wouldn't be stealing his bit. Just saying.
It kind of like zigzagged you back through the chapel, like into another, like a bigger church. And there was a chick
expanded.
that was coming around the corners, and she was like beckoning you to follow her and stuff. She was doing really good. And then we end up back outside.
Yep.
The lady that was beckoning us in that room, there was some stained glass. That was really freaking cool.
We end up back outside, and we meet Jack Frost and Frosty. And they kind of led us through this really cool cemetery, but they told us that they wanted to freeze us to death. So, I was like, I wasn't down for that. But they did. They zigzag us through this really sick cemetery. And I love when people, like, get a hold of cool, like, coffins and stuff. And they had some cool old coffins. That's a good time.
It was neat, yeah.
That zigzagged through the corner a little more and led through to this bus that was sitting in the corn, and it was completely hollow. And we could hear an echoing of this girl screaming, and we go to walk on, and we see her like peering at us from the bottom of the little front wall.
It was great.
She was funny. I thought she was hilarious. She was having fun in her bus, just dancing around. Mm-hmm. Once we walked through the bus, that started to zigzag through a junkyard with some gnarly scenes and a lot of like decor with big bows on trucks and things like that. But it was just like a junkyard with some interesting characters, and it led right to a special Santa Claus.
He said, "Hey, y'all liking my haunt?" And said, we're loving it. He goes, "Well, you're almost done." He goes, "See that purple sign over there?" I'm like, "Hey," he goes, "Yep, you might want to run towards it." And he started his chainsaw and chased us out of there.
And we ran right out as a classic ending to an awesome haunt, Deceased Farms in Lexington, South Carolina.
Of course, we went and checked out the merch booth. They had quite a few shirts. They even had some that were on sale. Stevie got a candle that she had got at Transworld last year.
Yes.
And we haven't seen them since.
Spectrum candles, if I'm saying that right. I love their candles.
Very
if you
awesome.
want to sponsor the podcast, you may.
Yeah.
They're delicious. I love their candles. They are not sponsored. I'm just saying I love their candles so much. And they start out just like a creamy white color, but when you light them, they turn colors and they smell like heaven.
Really cool candles.
Oh, they're so good. But other than just cool items in the gift shop, it was very well themed and decorated.
The wall, man,
The walls look so sick. Again, we will have this episode, this walkthrough we did on YouTube in the show notes below, so you can check it out for yourself.
Yep.
I thoroughly enjoyed this place. I can't wait to go check it out again. Deceased Farms in Lexington, South Carolina.
Thank you to Deceased Farms for having us out.
Yeah.
And thank you to the Fear Farm for recommending us.
Yeah, we really appreciate that.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. Anytime that someone can recommend us to go somewhere new, we highly appreciate that.
So we'll have information for Deceased Farm in the show notes below. So you can check them out if you're in the area or if you feel like traveling for haunted houses like we do.
That's right.
Yeah. So guys, as always, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review on wherever you listen to your podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yep. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to give it a big thumbs up.
Yeah.
And subscribe for more.
Subscribe. We're almost to 4,000 and we're trying to get to 1 million.
Of course.
We're close. I'm excited. It won't take long.
Nah.
All right, guys. As always, I am Stevie Stone.
And I'm Dwayne Stone.
We are Destination Stone on YouTube, and this is House of 1000 Haunts.